Hi everyone. In today's challenge, we are going to solve this problem. The problem name is interleaving string and the problem number is 97. Alright guys, first of all, what we are going to do? First of all, we are going to clearly understand the problem statement. After understanding the problem statement, then we will move to the logic part. And in the logic part, we are going to see how we can solve this problem. What are the logic and algorithm we are going to use to solve this problem. So everything we will discuss in the logic part. And after understanding the logic part, then we will move to the implementation part. In the implementation part, we are going to implement our logic in Python, C++, Java, and JavaScript programming language. Fine, guys. And guys, if you want to have a look on the solution, which I'm going to write in this video for Python, C++, Java, and JavaScript programming language, I will share one link in the description. You can go through that particular link. You can find all the solution over there. Alright, guys. So now let's see what this problem says. So let's understand the problem statement. So guys, problem says given string S1, S2, and S3. Alright, so it's clear, guys. We are given three input, right? Three inputs are given, and that is nothing but first also string, second is also string, third is also string, right? Simple. Find whether S3, so this is nothing but S1, S2, and this is S3. Find whether S3 is formed by an interleaving of S1 and S2. So what we need to find? We need to find whether this S3, this string, is formed by this particular two string, interleaving of this S1 and S2, right? And interleaving of two string S and T is a configuration of where S and T are divided into N and M substring respectively, such that S is this, T is this, N minus M less than or equal to 1, and the interleaving is this is. Let's understand this, what is interleaving, right? So simple, guys. You have S1 string, right? Let's say it is A, B, C, D. You have S2 string as well, right? This is, let's say, E, F, G, H. And we have S3 string, let's say A, B, E, F, let's say C, D, G, H. So this is your S3 string. I hope it is visible. So what I'm gonna do, I can say what this problem say. We have to check whether we are able to make S3 string by interleaving of S1 and S2. Interleaving of S1 and S2 means this S1 I can divide into some substring, let's say N substring. So I have divided into AB in one substring, CD in second substring. So I have divided into two substring, right? And this EFG also I have divided into two substring, EF and GH, right? So now if you focus here, if I choose this substring, I can choose in any order, right? So first of all, I'm taking AB, then I'm taking EF, then I'm taking CD, then I'm taking a GH. So you can see I have got my S3 substring, this particular S3 string. So this is nothing but a simple interleaving S of S1 and S2. So I just convert it into some substrings, let's say N length of substring, this also M length of substring. After that, converting this into some substring, I have picked in any of the order and I have combined and I got my S3 substring. So this is the only thing which you need to check. You are given with S string, S2 string, S1 string and S2 string. You have to check whether by interleaving this S1 and S2, can you able to make S3? If you are able to make S3, then you have to return true. Otherwise, you have to return false. Simple problem, right? So we have this example. Here we understand like how this is gonna work, right? So with this example, you will have a better understanding how this problem, what this problem say, and how this problem is gonna work, right? So what I'm gonna say simple. We are given this S1, this S2, and this S3, right? So let's write over here. S1 is nothing but simple, A, B, C, C. S2 is also simple, D, B, B, C, A, right? The main thing is nothing but S3, right? You have to focus over here. This is A, D, B, B, C, B, C, A, C. Fine. So this is nothing but S3. So now guys, what we need to do, we need to divide into some substring S1 into some substring, let's say N length of substring, right? So I am going to divide into three length of substring A, B, C, and C, right? And this S2 also I'm going to divide into two length of substring. This is nothing but D, B, B, C, and one only A, right? So now guys, what we are going to do, we have divided into two length of substring. We have divided S1 also into some substring. We have divided S2 also in some length of substring, right? Okay, so now what we are going to do? What we are going to do now? We are going to say, okay, now we have to make S3. Remember, right? So first of all, I'm gonna pick this pair, this substring, A, fine. Then I pick this complete substring, D, B, B, C. Then I pick this substring, we can say BC, right? This one, right? Then I pick this particular A, this one. Then I pick this C. So you can see I have taken all the substring of S1 and S2, right? Now I'm going to compare with S3. Is this equal to S3? Yes, this is equal to S3. So I can say it is answer is true. Are you able to get it? Are you able to get this, right? Simple thing. I have why I choose this A first, because I have to compare with my S3, right? So I have to make S3, so I choose A first. I can choose DBBC first, but this will not gonna be equal to S3, right? So I have to choose in a way that I should able to make S3, right? So really sorry guys, the light has gone. Alright, so this is the simple guys. Now let's see the logic part, how we can solve this problem, right? So let's understand the logic. So what I can do in the logic part, simple. So in the logic, we can say we have S3, S1, S2, and S3. So we have these three string, right? So for this, what we can do, we can simply say, guys, we have to convert these two string into some substring. And after combining all these substring, S1 and S2 substring, I should get S3, right? It makes sense, right? This is the only thing which we need to do. All right. So what we can do here, we can say if we have this particular string, this particular substring A, B, let me write here also. S1 is nothing but we can say A, and we can say B, C, C, right? This is S1. S2 is nothing but D, B, B, C, A, right? This is only right. And S3 is nothing but we can say A, D, B, B, C, B, C, A, C, right? So I hope only this is the fine. So we got our S1 and S2, S3. Now what we are going to do in the logic part, we are going to say, okay, we have to traverse on S1 and S2. Simple. So I'm going to say currently I is pointing to S1, I is pointing to S1. So I is pointing to A, B, C, C, this particular string. So I initially at 0. This is here is I initially at 0 index. So this is 0 index, 1 index, second index, 3 index, fourth index. Right. Same goes for S2. S2 is also A, not A, this is D, B, B, C. So J is going to point to this S2 and 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is nothing but the index of J. I will, it makes sense, right? Now what we are going to do, we are going to simply say, okay, just use a simple recursion where I comma J is going to be changed. So at any point of time, let's say my completely new string, this is new string, so let's n new string, this is initially empty, right? I want to make s3. So how can I make s3? I have to add first of all a, right? Then I have to add b, again a, then I have to add d, then b, then b, then c, b, c, a, c. I have to keep adding one each character one by one, right? Then only I can make our new string, right? So same thing over here, same thing here we are going to do. Here we are going to say I am starting from I0, J0, means both are initially at 0 of s1, 0 of s2, right? Now, firstly, which character I can take? This is D, right? No D. So first of all, what character we are going to take? Just let me know. Because you can see this is 0, this is 0. So I can simply say either first time I can take I character. So if I take ith character, this particular character, so I'm going to move I by 1, I index by 1, and J will remain same. So it's going to be look like I plus 1, comma J. This is the recursion diagram I'm just telling. If I take jth character, if I take this character to make our new string, so I'm going to say, okay, I will remain same, J plus 1. J plus 1 means J, we move J character, we took J character. So here I took I character, here I took J character. And this is going to be the next, we can say, the recursion part. If I take I character, I have to just keep I plus 1 and J will remain same. If I take J character, so I have to remain same I and J will going to increment by 1, right? And when they are going to break, when they are going to return, means what is going to be the base condition? The base condition is going to be when your I also equal to the length of S1. Means nothing but we can say I is equal to I reach to the last of S1, J also reach to the last of S2. So then you have to return 2. Means you have completed both S1 and S2 string. Now let's go through this particular example, right? This is nothing but a recursion diagram, right? Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say fine. So I have 0, 0. It's starting from 0, 0. I is also 0, J is also 0, right? So I can also take I or J at a time, right? So if I take I, so first of all I have to check I is at 0 index, right? Initially we are at 0, right? So at 0 index we have A, right? Fine. So here we have A, and at J we can say, I can say at J is also 0 index, J has D, right? But what character we needed to make new string? So first character we needed A. You got it right. So how we gonna say a? Because I plus j, if you will add I plus j, you will get 0 plus 0, which is nothing but 0. So nothing but this index you currently needed. So s3 of 0 is nothing but a. So we needed a. So definitely we can't choose this path, right? Why? Because here is d, but here is a. So I can choose this path. So I'm going to increment I by 1 and j will remain same. So j is 0. Fine. Now let's move ahead. So here, what is the at I index? I at 1 index. So what is s1 at 1 index? We have again a, right? I'm going to write a, and here it again d. So which character I should choose? A or d? So let's see. 1 plus 0 is nothing but 1. So we need a 1 index at s3. So this is going to telling us the index of s3, right? So s3 of 1 is nothing but a. So we need again a. So again a, that means again I can take I only. So this is going to remain. This is not going to work. Again move ahead. So at index 2, what we have? We have at index 2 b, right? You can see I, whenever I at a 2, we are going to get b. So here we are going to get d, same, right? Because j at 0 and s2 of 0 is nothing but e only, right? Fine. So what we are going to do here, which character should we need it, right? It's 2 plus 0. 2 plus 0 is nothing but 2 only. So this is nothing but the index of s3. So s3 of 2 is nothing but s3 of 2 is nothing but d, right? So we needed d, and so we can't take here I. So I will remain same. I will not going to work. Here we have to take d. So d is nothing but we are going to increment by 1. So j is going to increment by 1, right? So now guys, simple. This is keep going until and unless you reach to the last of both of the string. If you reach to the a case where this is going to be the case 4,4. So here what is going to be this mean? This means in nothing but here I also reach to the last of the string, j also reach to the end of the string. And you know guys, if we reach both, if I and j both reach to their last of the string, then that means we have taken all the string. We have got our all the string into a new string, right? We have taken all the string, right? So we got our s3, so that means we have to return true. Simple guys, simple. I hope it makes sense. So this is the simple recursion we are going to use. We are going to keep going. If we break in somewhere, like if any case come, like let's say here it is not d, here it is e, right? If it is a case e, so you can see we can't also take this one e as well, because we needed d, right? S3 of 2 is nothing but d only, right? S3 of 2 is nothing but d, so we needed a d, but here is b, here is e. So what we are going to do, we are going to simply say we can't take this path as well. So if we can't take any of the path, we have to return a false there. So here it is also false, here it is also false, right? So this both false, so any if both false, right? So we are going to say false or false. Here it is also going to be false. So this is also false, and this anyway is coming false. So false, false. This is again a false. This anyway coming a false. So we can say return directly false. But if we reach to a case where our I comma j both are pointed to end of the string, that means nothing but we have taken I plus j is nothing but what we can say, this is the index of s3, right? So if 4 plus 4 is going to be 8, that means nothing but 8 is also the last of the index, right? 8 is going to be 8th, right? So that means nothing but we have completed our s3 string, so we are going to return 2. Simple basic recursion guys. I hope you understand this particular part, a basic recursion. So what we are going to do, we are going to move to the code part and see how we can implement this one, right? So let me just give me a second. I guess I'm here first of all with Python, and here I'm going to make a function define sol, and here I'm going to say I and j. Simple, right? So first of all, we are going to check if I is equal to length of s1 and j is equal to length of s2. So we are going to simply say return true, right? But if it is not the case, so then we are going to check if our I is less than length of s1 and s of 1 of I is equal to s1 of I is equal to, let me write here, equal to s3 of s3 of what? What is the going to be the index for s3? I plus j, right? We have already seen. If it is the case, so what we are going to do, we are going to say move to the move increment your I, and j will remain same, right? Same thing here we have to do. If j is less than of s1, j is less than of s2, and s2 of what we can say, s2 of j is equal to s3 of I plus j. So we are going to say fine, move your j, not I, right? So here we can say solve I remain same and j plus equal to 1, right? So this is the thing which we are going to do, but here we have to store somewhere. So we can say this is the first answer. So we can, let's say a comma b initially both are false, right? So we can say this is going to be pointing to a, this is going to be pointing to b. Fine. So if any of the path is giving a true, so we have to return true, right? So we can say return a or b, right? This is the function which we are going to call. So let's say return sol 0 comma 0. Both are I and j both are starting from 0, right? Let's see whether that's working fine or not. See guys, here we haven't memorized it yet, right? It is a DP problem, recursion problem. We have to memorize it, but in Python we can use something else as well, that is called what we can say, caching, right? So just give me a second guys. I don't think my internet is working fine. You can see it's working. Okay, so it's working. So what we can do, we can simply say if we try to submit this code, we will get definitely TLE, right? So instead of that, what we can use a memorization, or we can use a cache in Python. Memorization we will see in C++, Java and JavaScript, but for Python we can use a cache here, and let's try to submit this code. I believe it should work, right? So no, we got a wrong answer. Did we done something wrong here? So if it is an M string, so it should not return true, right? All right. So we have to check one more condition, guys. Here, if length of s1 plus length of s2, if this two is equal to length of s3, then only you have to proceed. Otherwise, you have to return false. This is the, we can say, if it is not equal to, return directly false, right? So this is nothing but simple check, guys. If we have a more character in s1 and s2 and we want a less character of s3, or if we have greater character, greater I mean by this is nothing but s3 is bigger and s1 and s2 are having a less character, so still we could not able to make s3, right? So we are going to only proceed when both are equal, right? S1 character and s2 character, if we add both the characters is equal to the length of s3, then only you have to proceed, right? Fine. So you can see it passing all the test cases. Now let's try to submit this code. Again, you can see, guys, it successfully got submitted, right? So we have done with the Python, but here we haven't memorized it. We have used a cache, right? So in C++, we are going to see how we can memorize as well. All right. So in C++, we are in C++, and we are going to say fine. We are going to say first of all, what if s1 dot length plus s2 dot length is equal to s3 dot length, then fine. But if it is not equal to, so we can simply say if it is s3 dot length, right? Then what you have to do, you have to simply return false. Simple condition, right? Fine. So now what we are going to do, we are going to simply say make a function here. So before making a function, you have to memorize it. So for memorization, you can take a hash map, another map, or you can take a simple array. So I'm going to take a simple vector array. So let's vector of int, right? So here what I'm going to give a, I'm going to give a name dp, and here in this we are going to take a length. So let's say int n is going to be the length of s1 dot length, and m is nothing but s2 dot length, right? So I'm going to say n plus 1 size, vector of int n plus m plus 1 size, and by default it's going to have value -1, right? Fine. Now we are going to define one function bool data type, and okay, and here what we can say integer, two argument it's going to take, fine, and it's going to be nothing but let's write here syntax. So it's going to take int I and int j. Fine, it's going to take this part. Then we can simply say okay, it's going to return what, it's going to return bool. Fine. So now we can simply say boom. So here we can see if our I is equal to s1 dot length means n, and what we can say, and j is equal to m, right? If it is the case, then what we can say is we can simply say return true, right? But if it is not the case, then we are going to say if I less than n and s1 of I is equal to s3 of I plus c. If it is the case, then what you have to do, you have to say fine, we have to increment I plus 1 and j will remain same, and we have to store in somewhere. So let's define two things. Bool is equal to false, or we can say first is false, second is also false initially. So it is going to point to the first. If j is less than n and s2 of j is equal to s3 of I plus j, then what you can say, you can simply second is going to be moved. So let me just write here this, second is going to be moved. So I plus I will remain same, j plus 1, fine. And now at the end we can say our result is going to be, which is going to store in dp. So dp of I comma j is going to be what, is going to be first or second, right? And this should not be data type of int, this should be data type of boolean, right? So it is going to be first or second, right? Either first should be true or second, and if this is true, make dp of I j is true, right? And return dp of I comma j. Fine. And we are not memorized it yet, we have to check here before moving ahead. We have to check if dp of I and j is not equal to -1, which we have set initially by default, then what we, that means we have already traversed this particular case. So we have to say return dp of I j. Right, now let's see whether it's working fine or not. So we have to call this function as well anyway, right? So we can solve, we're going to call with 0 and 0 indexes, and we have to say return this solve. Alright, so let's see now. And why I'm using a nested function, guys, because I just don't want to repeat s1, s2 and s3, right? So it's saying that there's no member name length, length. Alright, so let's make it correct. Fine, I don't think now I should have any error. Let's see. Okay, again it's giving a vector bool dpn plus 1. Okay, why it is int? Now let's see. And I should give it a, yeah, I can't take a bool as well, right? So I can simply say it should be int. Why? Because we are taking a two thing, -1, 0 and plus, right? So what I can say fine. So this should be the case, right? Fine. Now let's see. Right. So let's see now. We got an error function bool int is equal to unqualified ID. So just give me a second, guys. I have to see whether it's fine or not. So okay, so I have to give a name, right? I haven't given a name, so I can say it's gonna be so. Let's see. So this is the first time which I'm using a C++ nested function, and I think I have given in the wrong place. I don't know why it's happening today. Well, I hope now it should work. Okay, finally it should work. Yeah, finally it's working. So just we need to use a semicolon here, and finally it's gonna pass the test case. Let's see. Please don't give me a wrong answer, right? At least we pass. Why it's happening? Do I have a wrong skill of C++? I don't know, guys. You can see, guys, finally it passed all the three test cases, right? So let's try to submit this code finally. I know I have wasted a lot of time here, but believe me, guys, it will gonna work. I don't know what is the D today. DB and B is saying that false, but it should return true, right? So if I is equal to n, j is equal to m, so we have to return true, right? Fine, it's the cool. Yeah, here in a mismatch, a less than m. Right, now let's submit this code. Really sorry, guys, I'm taking a lot of time over here. And you can see, guys, it successfully got accepted with a beat of 100%. Fine. Now let's move to the Java. In Java, what we are going to do, we are going to simply say first of all check if s1 dot length plus s2 dot length is equal to s3 dot length. So what we are going to do, we are going to say fine. If it is the case, fine. But if it is not equal, so directly return false. Fine. But if it is equal, so we can check whether we are able to make or not, right? So we are going to say fine. So we are going to take first of all an array. So int dp, it's going to be 2D array, is going to be new int of s1 dot length plus 1 and s2 dot length plus 1, right? So we can say int and is going to be s1 dot length, int m is going to be s2 dot length. Fine. So what we are going to do here, we're going to say n plus 1 m plus 1. So we have created one array, right? So by default you're going to have value 0. Remember, it's going to have value 0. Right? Fine. So what we're going to do, we are going to say fine, it's now we are going to call a function sol. And in this function, what we can do, we can simply say fine. So we're going to pass 0, 0, and we're going to say return whatever this solve function is going to give. But see, here we can't pass 0, 0 only. This is the index of I and j. We have to pass s1, s2, and s3 as well. Right. So now let's see. So we are going to public boolean sol int I int j string s1. So string s1, string s2, string s3. Fine. So here we're going to check if I is equal to s1 dot length and j is equal to s2 dot length. That means we reach to the last of the string, then return true. We could able to make s3. But if it is not the case, then if first of all define to value boolean a which is to false, b is also needs to false. So now we can say if I less than s1 dot length and I s1 of I is equal to s3 5 plus j, then simply we can say fine, move call this function a is going to be equal to now call this function where I going to increment, j will remain same. If it is not the case, if we can simply say if j is less than s2 dot length and s2 of j is equal to s3 of I plus j, that means that what we have to move j by 1, right? We have to call this function sol where I will remain same, j gonna increment by 1. Fine. So once this all done, then what we are going to do, we are going to simply say fine, check a or b. If any of this is true, that means we have to return true. If any of this is if both of are false, so return false. So we can use or operation, but here we have to use a memorization as well, right? So we have created one dp array. So we are going to pass dp here as well, and we're going to take here dp. So how it's going to take is going to take dp. So at the end, what we are going to do, we are going to say fine dp of I, where dp I and j is going to be what? it's gonna be what if A or B, if any of this is true, so you have to write true, right? But if it is not, if it is true, so put 1, if it is not, then put -1, right? And at then we can return dp5 comma j, right? I hope it making a sense. So fine. So what we can do here also we can check if dp of I and j is not equal to 0. If it is not equal to 0, so what we are going to do, if dp of I of j is not equal to 0, that means we have already traversed this particular case, right? So we have to simply say return dp of I of j. So here guys, this is a boolean, right? So we can either return true or false, right? So we can say dp of I comma j is going to be equal to 1, so return true, otherwise return false. So here also we can say dp of I comma j is equal to 1, so return true, otherwise return false. So let's see whether we can find or not, or do we have any error in Java as well? I don't want in Java. But let's see guys. We got one error, that is semicolon error. Fine. Now let's see, do we have any more? I don't want guys. Yeah, there's an cannot find a symbol. Cannot find a symbol. That is cool guys. So the very big mistake we have done here is nothing but this one. So as in JavaScript we don't have indexing, right? So we can use a caret of I, caret of j. I don't know why I missed this. Caret of I plus j, right? Same thing here. Let's see somewhere else we have done it or not. But I don't think we have any error. Cannot find unsolved method solution cannot be applied to this. That's fine. So this is fine. dp string 1, string 2, string j. Let's see whether this is fine or not. So we got an error that method solve, right? So fine, because we are not passing s1, s2 and s3 and dp, right? Same thing goes here, s1, s2, s3 and dp, right? So now let's see whether this we can find or not. This is going to be with Java. Okay, so you can see everything is working, just one type error, right? Fine. Anyways, I know I took a lot of time here as well by resolving an error, but this is just because I haven't done yet. So this is, I'm just first time doing implementation. So guys, you can see all the rest is passed. Let it submit this code, and finally it will also gonna submit, right? I don't want to see error, right? You can see it got accepted, right? Fine. Here we got 91.57% better. Alright, so what we are going to do, we are going to move to JavaScript now, and I believe guys here in JavaScript we will not get any error. So what I can say simple. First of all, what we need to check, we need to check if s1 dot length plus s2 dot length, if it is not equal to s3 dot length. If it is the case, then what we are going to do, we are going to say return simply false. So you have to return false. But if it is equal to s3 dot length, so we have to call a function. But before that, we have to make an array. Const dp new array of n plus 1 size. N plus 1 is nothing but, we can say let, what is happening. So we haven't done indentation here. Fine. Right now we can say here let n is going to be nothing but s1 dot length. Let m is going to be nothing but s2 dot length. Fine. Here we can say const dp of new n plus 1 size dot fill with -1 dot map. We can say new array of m plus 1 size dot fill -1. Right, now let's see whether we are going to be able to solve it or not. So we can say we are going to make a function const solve, which is going to take a 2 parameter I comma j only, and here we can say fine. First of all, we are going to check if I is equal to n and j is equal to m. Then you have to return directly not fast 2, right? This is the only case where we are going to return true. But if it is not the case, then check if I less than n and s1 of I is equal to s3 of I plus j. Then what you have to do? You have to say call this function solve I is going to increment by 1, j will remain same, and assign it to first. Alright, let's see. Same thing we are going to do here. If j is less than m and s2 of j is equal to s3 of I plus j. Okay. So what we are going to do? We are going to say okay, call a function here. J is going to increment by 1. I will remain same, and this is going to be in B store. And a and b, what are they? Initially they are false. So let a is equal to false, is equal to false. Fine. So here at end, what we can do at the end, we can simply say return, not return, stored in dp, right? Dp of I of j is going to be what? Is going to be a or b, right? So fine, it makes sense. So what we are going to do here, guys, so we have to check if dp of I, right, if dp of I and j is not initially minus 1, that means we have traversed this particular path, right? So what we have to do, we have to return dp of I and j, right? So fine, so this is there just because of this. Fine. Otherwise we have to store in dp and dp of I and j, and then we have to return dp of I and j. So this is basic simple recursion and memorization, and here we can call this solve 0, 0. Fine, and here we can say return this. Now let's see whether we have any error in JavaScript or not. Okay, so I don't want to see error, but I got an error. So invalid array length. Okay, so let's see. Okay, length. Now let's see. You can see all the rest gets passed finally, but still we haven't used a column, so right click colon. Fine, now let's try to submit this code. And I don't want to see wrong answer in this as well. You can see, guys, finally it will accept. It got accepted, right? So we have done the implementation with Python, C++, Java, and JavaScript programming language. I hope you understood the implementation part. If you have any kind of doubt in the implementation, problem understanding, logic, you can write it directly in the comment section. I'm always there to help you. And if you learned something in this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe my channel. Meet you in the next video.